Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is McDuck33 and welcome back to another Destiny 2 tier list. Today, we are taking a look at submachine guns. These weapons have really risen up in the PvP community. Definitely better than they were previously. So yeah, let's jump right in. Every waking moment. Meh. It's kind of bad. It's really annoying to farm. There's better stuff out there. I'm gonna rate this C tier. It can get some okay perk combos. Um, the main thing with all submachine guns, this is going to come up like all throughout the video, is zoom. Zoom is really important on a submachine gun because it basically drastically changes the amount of range that the SMG can get. Like a Multimach is, yeah, it can get absurd amounts of range if you build it right. So yeah, range is definitely important. As far as I know, every waking moment is locked to its like 14 zoom. I don't have all the zooms memorized, but most locked zooms are about 14, 13, 14, maybe 15 in some cases. Um, that's generally speaking. So yeah, kind of meh. This is the brand new SMG from the Throne World. I'm also going to rate this C tier just because there's better options out there. Um, and it's not great. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had much experience with it because it kind of just came out a couple weeks ago, and I've been doing other stuff. But from what I have experienced, it's not a great weapon. It's not a weapon that I would use over a Multimach or a escape velocity or borrowed time or something like that. So yeah, I meh. Funnelweb. Ooh. This is really hurting me. Ooh. A tier? No. S tier. This is Recluse 2.0. I'm calling it right now. I know other people have said that, and it's pretty much completely justified. I mean, the Funnelweb and Recluse are both spiders. Both SMGs are void. Both SMGs are of the same. I don't know if they're the same archetype. I believe Recluse might have been lightweight frame. Um, if it was, then I think they are the same archetype. However, they do look incredibly similar. So yeah, there's a lot of comparisons to be made there. This thing is great in PvP and PvE. I will say that it kind of drags in the perk options of PvP, but the zoom, I think it's 15 zoom, I want to say, which is pretty average. I'd say that 13 zoom, definitely the worst. 14, below average but manageable. 15, pretty average. 16 is like, I don't have a perfect roll, but it's pretty good. 17 is, woof, you're getting some good range on that. I believe it's at like a nice 15 range, which is good. It's definitely not a bad set of zoom. If I feel like I've been saying range instead of zoom. If I've said range instead of zoom, then I mean zoom. Osteo Striga. I'm up with this A tier. It's a very good SMG. Definitely very good. Um, I'd say it's kind of hard to use. It's definitely got a learning curve to it, but people who are really good with it are really good with it. I've been absolutely dominated by people in Rumble with this thing. Um, but again, it is a little hard to use. It takes up your exotic slot. So, I mean, it's not like, I wouldn't say it's S tier. I'd say it's definitely very good, but not S tier. Multimach, however, is S tier. This thing can push like what, 25 meters of range, which is absurd. That is completely unheard of for an SMG. Um, with the right perk combinations, you can get just absolutely crazy numbers um, from crazy distances. I don't have a perfect multi-mock roll. I have like an average Multimach roll. Um, my biggest complaint is that it required you to play Iron Banner. It is not acquirable anymore. They took it out of the Iron Banner loot pool. They might add it back. Knowing Bungie, they probably will add it back in a couple of seasons. But as it stands right now, you cannot acquire the Multimach. However, the Multimach, if you got the right perk combos, oof, it was great. Again, my biggest complaint is that you had to do Iron Banner, which is almost as taxing on my brain as Trials. Like, I don't like Iron Banner. Iron Banner makes me mad. It's not fun for me. Tarrabah. Ooh, another hard choice. I think I'm going to rate that S tier as well. To give you a little bit of numbers, I believe the base TTK for this gun is somewhere around like 0.8, 0.7, 0.8, somewhere around there, which is pretty good. That's bordering like, actually I want to say it's more like 0.6, which is pretty good. In today's meta, that's like, you know, Multimach TTKs, Borrowed Time TTKs, Shayura's TTK, those are all around 0.6, which is a pretty good TTK. Once you activate that Ravenous Beast perk, that drops down to 0.3. 0.3, that means that you are killing your opponent in a third of a second. A third of a second, that's less than half a second, which just completely blows my mind. It completely blows my mind that it can reach that level of, what do you call it? Deadliness. I can't think of the word. So, deadliness. Yeah. The fact that it can get that deadly. Biggest complaint, other than, like, it's a little hard to acquire because you have to get, like, crap tons of Spoils of Conquest. But my other complaint is that outside of its Ravenous Beast form, it's kind of a average SMG. It's got meh. I think it's got like 15 zoom, meh range otherwise. But once you get that Ravenous Beast perk procced, it is amazing. Fantastic SMG. Shayura's Wrath, definitely S tier. This is like the energy brother of, excuse me, of Multimach. It's got great perks. Yeah, there's not really anything to complain about this gun, except it is locked at like 16 zoom. The sight, I find, if you're strafing, so if, yeah, if you're strafing, the sight moves a lot. So it can be a little tricky to hit your targets when you're strafing, especially if you have something like moving target. Obviously, you're going to strafe faster. But other than that, I'd say that it's a great weapon. Obviously, you have to play Trials, which is by far not my favorite thing to do in the game. I hate Trials. Like, with a burning passion, I do not like Trials. Unfortunately, it does have some of the best loot in the game. So, you know, I gotta do it. Shayura is included. Escape Velocity, A tier. I'd say this is a pretty good, like, poor man's Multimach. Definitely a good SMG. It can get up to that nice 17 zoom. I have one with 17 zoom. I love it a lot. I actually like it more than my Multimach, just because my Multimach cannot reach that kind of range. The Gunsmith a while ago was selling a really good one. That's where I got mine. It had a Model 8 plus Accurized plus, what was it, Threat Detector and Quick Draw and a Reload Speed Masterwork, which is pretty much as much of a god rule as you can get. Great SMG. Highly recommend it if you don't have a Multimach. Borrowed Time, also A tier. This is kind of like the Shayura's, the brother, or the energy brother, or energy sister, whatever you want to call it, to the Escape Velocity. It's a great weapon. It's at like 16 zoom. It's locked at 16 zoom, which I am perfectly fine with. It can get some great perks. It does roll with barrels rather than sights. Obviously, it's locked to 16 zoom, so you can't get, you know, multiple sights on it. However, The perks are really good on this. You can get good stuff like Killing Wind, Snapshot, that's the role I have. There's some other great perks you can get. I'd say this is probably one of the best overall SMGs, like between PvE and PvP, because it's got some great roles both ways. I will say that it is a little hard to acquire if you don't want to be spending your Gambit engrams to focus them to get this weapon. You're going to be in for a lot of Gambit farming. The drop rates for Gambit are really low, which is what made this gun so hard to acquire in previous seasons before the new Gambit update, because you just had to keep mindlessly farming Gambit, which no one likes doing. So I think A tier is a very nice spot for it. Huckleberry, I'm gonna put this B tier because it's a pretty average. It's an average SMG. The range stat is not too great. It does have a little less stability than you'd want on an SMG. The zoom is like 15 or something, and honestly, the exotic perk does not really do anything. Unless you're challenged by like 3 dudes, the exotic perk is going to do nothing, but at that point, you're probably just going to get team shot to death, so there's no point in really, using the exotic perk. Yeah, it's a pretty average hand cannon SMG. It's pretty good, but also has its decent share of weaknesses. Extraordinary Rendition is going to go right up next to it, because it's just an average. It's an average SMG. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not competing for the top spot like the Multimach or the Escape Velocity or like any of these up here. But it's a fun gun to use. It does have that like swaying issue that Shayura's does, where it's got that same kind of sight. It's got like a very square sight with a dot in the middle, and it makes it kind of hard to hit your targets when you're moving and the dot is like staying still, but the box that it's within is moving. It's kind of hard to describe, but if you've used the gun and you notice like what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying, then you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, fun gun to use. Wouldn't say it's terrible, wouldn't say it's great. Yeah, Riskrunner going right up there next to it. This is for a different reason though. If its exotic perk did not exist, it would for sure be D tier. This gun sucks without its exotic perk. It is hot garbage. There's so many better options you could be using. Shayura's, Tarrabah, Borrowed Time, Funnelweb. It's just insane the amount of options you could be using instead of this if it didn't have its superconductor perk. However, with the superconductor perk, it is fantastic. It becomes infinitely better with the superconductor perk active. It's really strong on like what do you call it? It's really strong on like crap. What is it called? Titan. Jesus, I don't know why that took me so long to figure out. Yeah, it's really strong on Titan, where you can like throw down a pulse grenade, and now you have your superconductor active, and you just run into battle with some damage resistance, get a few kills. Yeah, great weapon. If the superconductor is active. Stochastic variable, I'm gonna put the C tier. I hate to do it because I do enjoy using this gun. It's just not that great. It's locked at like 14 zoom, which again is below average. It's got some good perks, like it can get Killing Wind, Quick Draw, I think. Maybe, I could be wrong about that. But I know it can get those 2 perks. I don't know if it can get it together. But it can get some fun rolls. It's great in PvE if you can get a good roll. Other than that, though, it's a world drop, so not the easiest to acquire. It does have a little fun magazine perk. I forget what it's called, but it does something unique, and I believe it's only on this SMG. But it's pretty good. It's a pretty good SMG, fun to use, but not super competitive. Our first D tier option is the 7th Seraph SMG. I hate this gun with all of my heart in PvP. It sucks so much. It's got a decent zoom, I'd say. But all the perks suck. The sight lines, I just do not like the sights on this gun. Definitely more PvE focused perks. It's just not a great gun for PvP. Like, there's so many better options as well. Well, I'm forgetting the name of this SMG. Damn it. It was in my mind. I forgot the name of that SMG. However, it also sucks in PvP. Great in PvE, I have to say. Wait, did I do? Great in PvE, sucks in PvP, is the gist of it. The gist of it. It can get some amazing PvE rolls. Like I have like 3,000 kills racked up on this this gun. The sights are really nice. I'm getting tongue-tied. Locked at like 14 zoom, so not the greatest. Again, the perks kind of suck for PvP. The Ikelos SMG. Ooh. I'm going to go, yeah, D tier again, because it just sucks. There's not any great perk combos you can get with this. There's just not. I mean, the zoom is locked to 13, 14, something like that. So yeah, not a great option. D tier for the Mida Mini tool. The only reason you ever use this gun is to pair it with the Mida Multi tool, because you want that speed bonus, which you might as well just equip a movement exotic and get the same thing out of that. The range on this gun, I think that the enemy could sneeze on you farther away than this gun gets no damage drop off. Like, the damage drop off, like, range for this gun, absolutely absurdly low. It's so incredibly low. Like, the entire point of SMGs is to have enough range to deal with, like, shotguns and stuff, but not be too far away that they can, like, battle hand cannons and stuff. Nope. You are going to get shotgunned if you use this SMG. There's no doubt about it. Friction fire, C tier. Not terrible, not great. Locked at a certain zoom, meh. Stats, I don't know if you can acquire this anymore. Now that Season of the Hunt and like that whole Beyond Light trilogy ended, I don't know that you can get that gun anymore. But it's not bad. It's not great either. It's below average, which is why it's in C tier. Which is also where the cold front is going, because I don't like this gun. It's available once a year, which makes it kind of hard to farm unless you just dedicate all of your time to getting it. The sights are kind of bad. The zoom also kind of bad. The perks are meh, but the stability, oh my lord, it is so hard to control this weapon. The stability is like incredibly low, to the point where you have to like, I don't even know if it can get ricochet rounds, but if it can, you have to put like ricochet on it, like polygonal, and a stability masterwork to even like control this weapon, which is normally not something you want to deal with. You want to put stats into range, which is also not a great high point for the cold front. I do not like that weapon. However, it is usable. It's usable, which is the only reason it's not going in D tier. That's the only reason. So yeah, that's the SMG tier list. I will say that the majority of the SMGs are kind of meh. SMGs are pretty hit or miss, I will say. These are really the top SMGs. Like, if you get one of these, definitely take a look at the roll. These, obviously, you can't, take a look at these two rolls because they're fixed rolls. But if you can get the Extraordinary Rendition, which I don't know that you can, go ahead and take a look at that roll. These, unless it's like a stochastic variable, I would not take a look at any of these rolls just because I don't like any of them. They're not good. I do not like any of these SMGs down here, except the stochastic variable. Stochastic variable is fun. It's just not viable. That's my really only complaint about it. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you guys really enjoyed, be sure to subscribe because that'd be awesome. If you want to see more Destiny 2 content like this, go ahead and comment down below. Share the video because that would be amazing, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.